Okay, so check this out. Detoxifying aids with sore muscles and joints, reduces inflammation, increases blood flow, improves lymphatic circulation, and burns up to 600 calories in a 45-minute session. I mean, what? Now, if you're wondering, Melissa, what on earth are you talking about? Well, I'm talking today about one of my favorite biohacking tools for hormonal and autoimmune conditions, and that is my infrared sauna blanket. And you guys had a ton of questions, and I'm answering all of them. So you're gonna wanna make sure you watch this video right until the end. Are you ready? If so, let's do this. Hey there, it's Melissa Ramos from Sexy Food Therapy, giving you the straight talk about all things hormonal and autoimmune conditions from a nutrition and Chinese medical perspective, all wrapped up in a little bit of sass. Now, before we begin, I want to remind you to subscribe and hit that little bell button. That way you get notified every single time a new episode drops every Wednesday. Okay, so why did I buy an infrared sauna blanket to begin with? First and foremost, I was pretty hesitant to purchase this because it's a $500 product, but I was already spending money on weekly drop-ins at the gym just to use their sauna, and I knew that was going to add up fast. Now, just a side note, if after watching this video you decide, I really want to get one of those, then what I've done for you is I've included a coupon code for $50 off that you can grab by clicking the link in the comments. The second reason why I got this is because when I did live in a city apartment, my space was limited. And now that I live in a 25-foot tiny home on wheels, well, my space is even smaller. So this blanket is actually perfect to travel with. Now, if you don't know this about me, I have Hashimotos, an autoimmune thyroid condition. And side note, Hashimotos ain't nothing but a symptom. So you can take desiccated thyroid hormone, low-dose naltrexone, Synthroid, etc. But if you don't address why you have Hashimoto's to begin with, you're just going to be chasing symptoms. So when I dug deeper into the why behind my Hashimoto's, which I did through gut testing that we offer in my hormone membership program, Sexy Ladyballs, I discovered that I had gut infections. I know, kind of gross, right? But they needed to be addressed. And here's a fun fact. I haven't seen a single autoimmune case in practice that didn't involve some level of gut infections. Gut infections will lead to a leaky gut, higher thyroid antibodies, and the inability to convert T4, our inactive thyroid hormone, to T3, our active thyroid hormone. I also suspect that given the apartment I used to live in, that I have mold toxicity as well. Believe it or not, research shows that 20% of individuals with thyroid issues have thyroid glands which were infiltrated with black mold. Stay tuned for a future video to come on mold and autoimmunity. By working on what's causing my Hashimoto's, I've been able to reduce my thyroid antibodies, stop my hair from falling out, and even increase my energy. So if you want the tools that have helped me greatly, I have compiled a bunch of those tools in my free Thyroid 411 guide, which you can grab by clicking the link in the comments. When you do, I'm not only going to send you those tools, but you're also going to receive my hair loss check sheet. Plus, I've included the essential oils that actually help me sweat. Because, side note, if you have hypothyroidism, you may also struggle getting your sweat on. I use my sauna blanket because it's been instrumental to my detoxification and healing journey. Because when you're trying to detox, it is absolutely important that you make sure that your elimination pathways are open. And your skin happens to be one of those pathways, so you have to make sure that you're sweating. But in addition to all this, sweating increases blood flow and circulation, reduces inflammation, it soothes sore joints and muscles, lowers cortisol, and increases our feel-good happy hormone, serotonin. And the infrared rays helps to boost collagen production, which is the reason why that people think that I'm 25 years old, when in fact, I'm 55. Please tell me you didn't buy that. Now, as usual, I threw out a big bat girl symbol over on my Instagram account. Follow me there and ask you guys what questions you had about my infrared sauna blanket. Now, the biggest question I received was, what's the difference between an infrared sauna blanket and a regular infrared sauna? A regular infrared sauna is a full spectrum, and this is an expression that is used by companies which sell saunas with both far and near mid-infrared emitters. In fact, you can see an example of what this type of sauna looks like in a video that I did over here on my YouTube channel. The thing is, infrared lights requires your body to be about 2 to 3 inches away from the device because the body doesn't absorb infrared lights well from a distance. It's really the far infrared that penetrates deepest into the tissues, and this is what my sauna blanket offers. This brings me to another question that you guys asked, which was, how do you use and prep for it? What temperature do you put it at, and how long do you stay in it for? It may seem weird at first, but you actually have to wear loose-fitting cotton clothes. I'm talking about pants, a long-sleeved shirt, and even socks. It can get really hot in there, so wearing clothes can actually make it a little bit more comfortable and can even help with cleanup, which I'll circle back about in a bit. Because your clothes will absorb a lot of the sweat, which is the reason why I bought a cheap and cheerful outfit at Walmart. To prep for it, you want to make sure that you drink 1 to 2 liters of salted water about an hour or two prior to getting into the sauna. And if you're wondering, I put in about a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt for every liter of water I drink. Hydration is extremely important, especially in cases of adrenal fatigue where people oftentimes struggle with thermoregulation. Because remember, you're sweating, so make sure that you stay hydrated with that salted water before and after your sauna session, or you will feel awful. Another thing I do, which most people don't do, but I think personally is crucial, is I take a very specific binder. And the great thing about this binder is it doesn't, unlike other binders, bind to the good stuff. And I've included what that binder is in my free Thyroid 411 guide, so make sure to grab it. Now, the beauty of taking this is that it really helps to amp up my binding and my detoxification efforts while I'm in the sauna. You have to make sure that you give the blanket about 10 minutes to preheat before jumping in. I make sure that I put down a pillow with a little towel over top of it, and I'll put in my ears, a little podcast or an audiobook that I'm listening to, and get really comfy. It's important to note that the sauna blanket goes up to a temperature of 9, but the company advises to start off at a 5 and to not go up to a 9 unless you're absolutely struggling to sweat at a lower temperature. When I first started to use it, I dialed it up to a 7, and initially I couldn't tolerate more than 20 minutes of being in there. Since then, I worked up to an 8 on the temperature dial, and now I stay in there for a total of 45 minutes. Honestly, the last 10 minutes is kind of tough, so I'm really concentrating on my breath because by that point, I'm really sweating. During a detox protocol, I'm in there roughly about 3 times a week, but for general maintenance, I'm usually going into my sauna blanket about once a week. Because believe it or not, it really helps to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is otherwise known as your rest and digest state. Plus, it lowers cortisol and increases serotonin, which has been really beneficial for my mental health. A big concern that you guys had was, is the sauna blanket material safe when heated? The blanket is actually made of waterproof polyurethane material and non-toxic fabric, so yes, it is safe. Another aspect of this sauna blanket, which I absolutely love, is that it has an amethyst layer, which helps to deepen the effects of the infrared rays. It has a tourmaline and clay layer, which helps to generate negative ions, balance out the heat, reduce stress, and boost immune function. It has a charcoal layer which helps to bind to pollutants. And it has a magnetic strip for improved blood circulation. Now, if you're anything like me, EMFs are a huge concern. And you might be wondering, does this sauna blanket emit a ton of EMFs? And if you didn't know this already, EMFs increase mycotoxins, which are the toxins produced from mold, up to 600 times, making them more aggressive. So the reason why I got this blanket is because it emits little to no EMFs. Okay, so how do you clean it? It's surprisingly pretty easy because the clothes really do help to absorb a lot of the sweat. What I use is a non-toxic cleaner that I make myself, and then I wipe it down about 30 minutes after the sauna blanket has already cooled. Then, once I'm done, one of my favorite ways to end it is to jump into a cold shower to really get my lymphatic circulation going. What about the size of the blanket? Will it fit if you're overweight? This was a great question that I had received. The answer to this is when it's folded, the blanket has a 65-inch interior, which can fit most people. However, I'm happy to report that when I asked the company, they are in production for a larger size sauna blanket to be more inclusive to all sizes. What about when you're on your period? Should you avoid getting into a sauna? Personally speaking, I love heat when I'm on my period, especially before. In Chinese medicine, before your period, when you get those cramping, that's a sign of cold. So heat is amazing. However, with that said, remember that your hydration needs during your period is extremely important. See a theme here? Hydration, prior and even after, is important. If you want to get into a sauna, I would suggest to potentially start at a different time for the first time rather than the day of your period. Okay, so who shouldn't get into a sauna blanket? You always want to make sure that you consult your medical doctor, especially if you're worried, but I thought that I would include some precautions for you to consider. You've had surgery or have heart disease or cardiovascular type issues, high blood pressure, you have various metal implants in your body, or you have breast implants, you're pregnant or breastfeeding. Following my work, you will know that I am pretty committed to my health and I love my biohacking tools. Specifically, I really love my sauna blanket. So will this be your magic tool to lose weight? Remember folks, weight gain is a symptom of inflammation, and it's important to address why that inflammatory response is there to begin with. A sauna can be an excellent complementary tool, but you can't outsweat a shitty diet and a sedentary lifestyle. You have to commit to your health, and work is required. In fact, sometimes when I get into my sauna blanket, I actually do a castor oil pack at the same time. Because I'm crazy like that. So, do I actually think it's worth it? Abso-fucking-lutely. Because I know that I'm saving space in the long run, and it's convenient for a small space. So if you want to be able to get one of your own, make sure that you grab my coupon code in the link in the comments. That way you save 50 bucks off. And don't forget, I've added a ton of tools which have helped me and many of my thyroid patients in my free Thyroid 411 guide. When you do, remember I'm also going to be sending you that hair loss check sheet, plus I'm going to be giving you the tools that I use to help me prep for my sauna blanket. It's a win-win for everyone, so go grab it now. And hey listen, if you dug this video, then do me a favor, give it a thumbs up, share it, leave me a comment, your word truly does matter. In the meantime, stay tuned for all the goodness to come, and make sure that you subscribe, that way you don't miss a thing. See you next time. That wasn't supposed to happen that way. Why can't I fucking do that?